Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Greg here with an update at last. I've had a couple of busy weeks with one thing and another. And last week especially was sort of couldn't get into the cave for a time to get into bits and pieces done. So like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So I had to put a lot of things off until I got some time into the bench. First day being yesterday, but we've got a bit done since we started to keep me and Paul. Paul's coming along nicely. I'm not too far behind. So let's have a look what we've got started in. We've actually got the hull together, obviously. This is the hull. Obviously got these brass things there through there with the holes in, ready for the piece of wood. This is being primed at the moment. Went together lovely, the hull, really did, and the deck. As you can tell, I made a cock up, so I had to cut a hole out because I forgot to seal the nuts, didn't I? So it won't move around, so I had to cut a hole in it and do that. But luckily I managed to get them both. Luckily that one was just with where the turret goes, so I was quite lucky with that one. But apart from that, it's a lovely fit, really is. And I say it's had its first primer coat. There's a couple of little marks that I need to sand out, but apart from that, everything's okay. Underneath it's going quite well. Again, it's smooth, just needs a bit of a light sanding. It was Paul's idea to do with the torpedo nets. So we've got some, can't remember what thickness it was, plastic card, and we added where the net sits for the torpedo tube, so we added that to it. This is obviously this has been primed again, so it's all been added to, so you can't really tell where it is, but the net will sit along there, and then you got the railings on the inside. So if we had just the railings, then you wouldn't be able to put it anywhere because the railings are right on the outside. So it was a good idea to Paul's that, so I've copied his idea and we've gone with it. So, but yeah, so the hull is really nice. It's a nice size ship, you know, the old Dreadnought. Didn't have much action, but so I believe it was the only battleship to sink a submarine by ramming it. So yeah, so I drilled all the portholes, as you can see, on both sides. Added these are the poles for the netting. They're a bit fiddly, but it went on okay. And I've just gone along and primed some of the blocks. All these things are all going to be where the wooden deck goes on, so all these are going to be put to the colour first before the wooden deck goes on, all the little bits and bobs which need to be added. So I'll put that just out of the way for now. I need to get that mark off there as well. And this is the upper deck. Nothing really done much on this one, but I did a bit of PE underneath there, or just right underneath. A bit of PE underneath there, and again we have a little piece of PE in that corner there. We have some step ladders on there, and we have some more ladders on there as well. And there's a bit of PE on here, just these covers or whatever they are for, whatever they're for. That's all I've done on that part yet. Obviously it's a lot different to building armour. You have to paint, build paint to add on to it, but I'm enjoying it. That's the main thing for me, is the enjoyment. So that's that bit done, so we'll leave that there. We have, well, these are fine little bits and bobs in here. We have these are all made up from PE, part of the bridge. And I've actually added all the, Paul's got his primed, that's what I'll be doing today along the way, is the little, I think 12 pound, is it 6 pounders? I can't remember, 12 pound, I can't really remember what they are now. but they're on there. I think there's about 26 of them need to be done, which are all done now obviously, but yeah, it just took me time, drill them out, and it worked quite well. So they've got to be primed yet. I've just cut some little bits and pieces off and cleaned them up. As with Paul again, he gave me the idea for the, because he's more of a shipbuilder than I am, to drill out the searchlights. Again, I haven't done anything else apart from drill them out, so they need to be primed as well. And then put a bit of silver behind, and then some crystal clear on top of there. So I think there's 13 or 14 lights to do on the Dreadnought. So they're all done. Little bits and pieces. On the wooden deck set that I've got, I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. You get this little bit of PE for these. I don't know what they are, but they look better than the kit parts, so I've used them. I don't know what they are. Like a little roll or something, so I've used the PE that came with the wooden deck, and I've made those up as well. There, so they're all ready to be primed. Anything else in here? Oh yeah, I've done a bit of the wash to stop the wave breaking over the decks, or help keep it sort of dryish. So they're done with PE. Again, that's done. There's lots of little random parts in here ready to be sprayed. Actually, I need to take that out of there actually. They all need to be sprayed. I'll put them on there. Actually, I'll keep them in here just for now, so I know where they are. Otherwise, they will get lost. Yeah, so that's all that's in there. So that's to replace that part there, which was a kit part. So that's what that's going to be replaced with. So I'll pop that back in there. And again, we have some more plastic cleaned up. I've got all our parts cleaned up, ready to be primed or ready to be built. In here we have got more lifeboats, some more frames. The anchors I've done. There's the anchors, they're done. They're 3 parts for the anchor, but they come together nicely. I presume that's the kit part, which isn't too bad either. So I may use, I don't know yet. And there's just little bits and bobs in there to go onto the ship's deck. Open that. Alright, we'll bring this down. I did these yesterday. So I've got the barrels. We'll do the lifeboats first. You can see all the lifeboats. They're all just primed. There's a bit of PE on the lifeboats as well. Got wooden decking to go in all these. Okay, I say when we get to the wooden deck I'll explain what I've done, but I've got another one coming. Right, so I did these yesterday with the main armament. I've added some blast bags, and I've sort of offset some of the main barrels, so they're dry, didn't quite dry yet, but it's a slow setting epoxy, time of year epoxy stuff, putty. But yeah, so I shaped them with a cocktail stick and wedged them into the hole, so it's holding them in position, because there's even with the kit parts, which are, where have I put the kit part? Use a kit part. With the blast bags, they fit just straight into the turret. There's no up and down motion to the turret at all, so that would just fit straight into there, into the actual turret itself. So I've just thought, well, I'll make a blast bags and wedge them in, and they've held. So it's quite a bit of PE on top of there. We've got some little guns again. They've got the ladder with the hand railings. You've got the, I don't know what these little fences are for, but I think that's wood if I'm not mistaken when it comes to it. There are little parts inside there like a decking. And they clean that part up there. But yeah, so They've come along nicely. Took a bit of doing, all little bits of PE. I've got one more to finish. Is this one? I haven't done the ladder yet, so that'll be in there next. But once they're set, we'll prime them up. I've already primed them in, it's just a matter of doing the barrels, and I'm going to use the where we are, where's this stuff at? This stuff, Mr. Colour. Where we are? For metal priming. Mr. Metal, I'll use that to prime the metal parts. So that's them done. Right, and then we get to all these little bits that stuck onto the little trees. Obviously I've done the same as Paul. I've sprayed the railings all ready to be attached. There's a few small railings I have to attach onto the masts. I'll show you that as well when we get to it, so let's leave that there for now. I'll just move them out of the way. See, all these little bits and pieces are primed because they've all got to go together at some point. So I'll prime them and spray them again with their actual colour. The kit masts are very, very thin and very, you know, as soon as you put any tension on those with your rigging, they're gonna bend and eventually snap. So we did it with brass. Yeah, with brass. And the first time I've actually soldered since I was probably a kid, since I was at school, I would think. Not my strongest point, but brass rod. So I've done the rear mast on this kit, the Trumpeter 1915 version, on the box and on pictures that I've looked and viewed at through the thing. The rear mast is there, but in the kit they have omitted it. I know it's on the 1918 one that's been omitted, but it wasn't on the 2015, so I had to make one. Luckily Paul sent me the dimensions and whatever, so I cut it and done it together. So we've got, this is the rear one. That was a fairly simple one to do. Soldered and cleaned it up best I can with a file, and again these have all got to be all got to be primed and cleaned up, and bits and pieces just need to sand before I prime them. So that's the rear mast, and that needs a railing around the back of that one. And this is the main mast again. That's all PE again, and the brass, and I've rounded the end off with a file to make it a bit narrower. And these are the parts of the PE that came, like I don't know what they are, like part of the rope rigging, I don't know what it is on there, but like you ever see on the sailing ships, so I've added those. This is brass as well, so, and this is the main turret. A lot of work went into that. Took most of the day yesterday, it's all around, but it was well worth it in the end. Well worth the effort. We have primed up the funnels. Not overly happy with those, but they'll be okay. I might go back to them and give them a bit of a clean up again, because there's a few marks on there that I'm not happy with, so we'll get back into those. I may even do what Paul's done and use the brass pipe yet, I don't know. I've got some brass pipes, so I may use that. I've drilled out, this is on the part of the bridge, but it's facing towards the stern of the ship, so I've drilled out all the holes, and then I got me scalpel and cleaned them all out, so I get more of a definition there. I may even add crystal clear to those at the end. I shall see if it's worth me doing it or not. So I've done all of them out, they're all done. There's all these little bits and pieces. We have part of the masts, the deck, part of this deck, that's for the upper deck as well. Part of the tripod mast is there. All little bits of PE added to the tripod masts. We've got the a ladder which is on the bottom of there as well, and not too sure what they are on that side, but on one side here we have to add the platform with the searchlights on those. So there's quite a lot of searchlight on this kit, on the Dreadnought. I think that's about it really. All I say, just all these little bits and bobs that needed doing and cleaning up, and so this is all going to be, these are the platforms for the let's turn them around so I can prime them actually. These are the little decks for the spotlights that go on the tripod mast. Yeah, just I've got a lot of PE work underneath those as well. It's all PE underneath there. And I was just practicing, I say, because I've never soldered for such a long time, so I was doing a bit of practicing with these other masts here. I did these two first, but I wasn't overly happy with them, so I started again. So I've got a spare mast for the next one if I ever build another one. So I've got those two. One cleaned up a bit, but at least I've got two spare masts now for the next build. Or one mast, whichever the case may be. Yeah, so I think that's about it really. I think we're getting along nicely. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue priming the little bits and pieces, and then I'm just going to clean up a little few marks on the hull there, and I'll probably put the boot line across the black. I'll just spray black along there and I'll mask it off, and then obviously when we do the greys and the hull reds and things like that, we can peel it off when it's all finished, and we've got the boot strap then so on it, so that'll be a thing to look forward to, getting that done eventually. Yeah, it's progress. Progress is progress, as I say. It just takes time because you have to build, assemble, paint, build, assemble, paint. Just takes a long time to do. Totally different from building armour, but it's a nice change. Nice change. I say I enjoyed doing that little Russian oral just before Christmas. I did enjoy doing that. So I'm enjoying doing this. So I'll just put those out the way. I said most of the actual kit is here. I'll show you about the deck. Numpty me, didn't realise until we were starting to build the kit, and it cost Trumpeter to do 3 different versions. I do the 1907, 1915 and 1918. So what did I order? The 1907 version. Wooden deck. I think these will still fit. These two will fit, but all these small parts won't. These are no good. So I've had to, and the only place I can get one from is Australia. So hopefully it'll be within a fortnight, hopefully. I ordered it last week, so I can't really go and do any more work on the bridge. I might be able to do with the lower hull, sorry, the upper hull and the top deck as well. I might be able to use those, but nothing else on there. And again, there's the small pieces. The glare is for the lifeboats. Yeah, I've all got to be added separately. Yeah, so this is the stuff that I got. Yeah, it's a Hunter deck series, and it's quite a nice deck. Quite nicely defined. So I may add a little, the light brown accent colour to me, or the dark one, not too sure, like I did on the Orel, just to change the colour slightly. Yeah, so it's a bit of a thicker. That's for the 2007 version. I should have even realised by there. If you can see, we have the number there for Trumpeter, and that's the bloody version. Mine is version 05329. Yep. That's going to stall me slightly building, but everything else is basically cleaned up. There's a few little bits and pieces. I've ordered the thing like Paul showed you, because I ordered this one, and it is slightly out of scale. This is like a millionaire's wire, So I've ordered the black one, so that should be coming very soon. A lot of little bits and pieces still to prime on these sprues. I'd rather prime on the sprues and just got a quick touch up near the end. I have cut a lot of things off, so obviously going to use the barrels. All these will be, I think some of these are going to be PE, some of them are anyhow, but yeah, so the box is nearly empty now. And as you've seen all this anyhow, the anchor chain and all that kind of stuff still in there. Right, so we'll pop that back on there, that back on there, and that on there. Just before we go, I was in England. We have a supermarket called Aldi. I think it's a German company, I think. And oh, hold on, let me pick it up because I may have lost that ladder. Where's that come from? One of the turrets, likely. Yeah, so I was in Aldi on Saturday, shopping with the good lady. And I was just milling about as she does the shop, and I just sort of, I don't usually go in, but I did this time, and I'm glad I did. So I went in and I saw this. It's a little ultrasonic cleaner. I've paid £14.99 for it, and I cleaned some of my airbrushes, which I thought were clean. I was wrong. Fantastic, really good. I was surprised how much come out of here. You know, it always gets gunked up round by the trigger. This was not too bad, but even so, when I cleaned it, I was shocked to see what came out of it. But yeah, perfect. A great little investment. So my daughter's used it to clean some of her jewellery already. I'm sure the wife will be using the same thing. But yeah, so it's a good little find. A good little find. It's got a timer, includes attachments. You've got LED display. Power unit, output 50 watt, capacity 0.5 litres, and the cord on there as well. So yeah, it really works really nicely. You know, that's what you get. You get the basket. You know, it's big enough for what I need. I don't need anything bigger. So yeah, it was worth the £14. So I've got one more brush to clean, which I may do later on today. And then that's me airbrushes cleaned then until I do them. And I'll try and do them once a month, depending on how much I use them. So I think that's where we are. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else. No, not as such at the moment. So I want to thank you all again for your kind comments on my last build, the Sturm Tiger on the flatbed. I really enjoyed it. I just need to get a case for it yet. I still haven't got the case ordered or built or whatever until I find one that's going to be big enough. Because obviously the Sturm Tiger's on the flatbed, and the flatbed's on a bit of a diage, you know. So I need to make sure I've got the right height and not too much. You know, my little grandson in the background. He's teething at the moment, so he's a bit temperamental. He's not too bad. He's a good little boy. He sleeps well. You know, starting to sleep a good 6 hours. Excuse me, through the night now. So his mum and dad get some decent sleep. But as you can hear, he's a bit upset. Poor Alfie. So as I say, thank you very much again for all your kind comments and everything else. I really enjoy reading them. I don't reply to them, which I keep saying I will, but I'm just a lazy sod really. So this is Greg signing off, and we shall see you very, very soon with an update. Paul's probably going to do another update, maybe at roughly the same time as me as well. So we'll see how we get along. So this is Greg signing off, and we'll catch you very soon.